Hi, friends. Listen, it is a great day to be great, and it is also a great day to give every business owner that I can knowledge equity. Over the past decade, I have worked with more than 400 B2B brands, which in and itself is insane to think about, but they all wanted one thing.
Better ingredients, better pizza.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, what they really wanted is to operate better. And when I say better, it's because some of them wanted efficiency, some of them wanted scalability, some of them wanted to fire their entire team and start over, and some have just wanted to connect the dots to make things overall more easy. I think back to my first big girl job. On my first day, literally, we received a finding report from the city of Austin. In one quarter, a mere 90 days, our grant data was so poorly documented and calculated that we had racked up almost $80,000 in fines due to those inaccuracies. And I spent my first week vigorously flipping through filing cabinets to find student demographics, bus pass qualifications, and triple counting the correct success rate of our 20-year organization, all while breathing, "What the fuck?" under my breath. Talk about on-the-job training. I mean, come on. What better hands-on learning experience than having to immediately put out a fire? The outcome, though, we went from a 27-page error report to a measly 2-line item issue. Over the next 8 years, I documented every single thing. I developed handbooks, compliance guidelines. I built and launched a SQL database with our IT guy because I believed in the work that we did, and there was no way in hell that a miscount was going to bring us down. But then I start freelancing. And sure, there were plenty of courses and lead magnets on how to sell on Instagram, but nothing, and I mean nothing, on how to truly optimize the work I was doing. And so I pulled from my experience in my day job and I started, once again, documenting processes. I reviewed and tested better ways to operate with every single project. I was then able to do better. And flash forward to 2021 when we all know the lawsuit that landed in my inbox from a pissed off client trying to push blame for an error that they caused. But luckily for me, I had every single thing saved. Emails, calls. I was pulled up those receipts so fast in that signed contract and boom, crisis was averted. Thank God. But then in 2022, I found myself wanting to help businesses even more. And luckily, my best friend came to me overworked. Well, I guess really not luckily for her, but she was overworked and burning cash in her photography business. And so over an afternoon, we sat down and we took a fine-tooth comb to every process, every subscription she had, and then took a very deep dive look at every hour that she was spending delivering some of the most creative work I had ever seen. And what was crazy about it is that we were able to really take a look at what she was spending, cut all of that literally in half, and save her over $300 a month in subscriptions alone. But then on top of that, we were able to drive her admin from 38 hours a client to only 6. And then late last year, a well-known TV celebrities team reached out to me, and they were losing about $100,000 a month due to human error and constant turnover. And what we found was much, much, much worse. They didn't own the most crucial software that the business relied on, and their entire structure was crumbling in the most discreet places. I mean, they had no password management. They didn't know that previously fired employees still were the logins to their most important tech. And so what we did, we got down to business and we did what I call a planned detonation. We let everything crumble in a controlled environment to truly understand where their leaky buckets were at. And then we were able to build an entirely new company operation structure from it. Literally, we built a holdings company for them. And we replicated the structure across all 4 of their brands. So I guess our slogan should be better processes, better tech, systmsOS. The point is that none of these instances are lightnings in a bottle. Every single brand that I've ever worked with in the last decade has had some kind of leaky bucket. No matter how established they were, it could be in sales, delivery, relationships, data management, even remote work culture. But in the spirit of Halloween, what started as a tiny, easy to ignore issue becomes this massive wart that just honestly stare people right in the nose. And in silly terms, that's why I created a business pimple patch. Because believe it or not, the problems you're facing can be solved overnight if we attack them immediately. And it's not some secret unknown chemical in the product, okay? It is a single framework called systmsOS. systmsOS is not a course, and it is not a bunch of half-baked templates. It is my framework that I've developed from years of gathered insights bundled exactly how I work with my 15K clients so you can implement it in-house. But more importantly, it is so easy to implement no matter how tech savvy or not that you are. And I know for a fact that this 3-phase process will overhaul your operations and it will streamline your customer journey because I've seen this work with companies making $2K a month, and I've also seen it work with companies making $1 million a month. It will 10x your business. But remember, hold on, because 10x does not have to mean revenue. It could be landing more speaking gigs, growing your YouTube channel, or yes, making more cash. But it does mean that by doing this work, you're getting back time to conquer what I call your want to-do list. The best part, you are getting a complete inside look right now. So let's dive in, shall we? So there's 4 steps to implementing systmsOS. They're ungodly straightforward, okay? So the first is that I'm going to have you work on an audit. This is my business ecosystem workbook. Chances are you've already downloaded this for free off of my website. But what it's going to do is it's going to have you take an in-depth look at everything from how you communicate with your clients and your team, if you have one, how you handle onboarding, how you handle sales, how you build relationships and culture within your business, no matter if you are a solopreneur or you have a team. And then you're going to take everything that you have found from that audit and you are going to do what I call a workflow remap. I have 100% live streamed this process several times. Chances are you've also already seen that. But what I'm going to do is teach you how to actually map your customer journey here. So we have this process called if this, then what. And so this allows you to always have every process within your business an answer and a reaction. And so for a great example, if a client completes your contact form on your website, then what happens? Do they get redirected to book a sales call? Are they pre-qualified? Do they just get pushed into your sales pipeline in Notion, right? What happens with every action, right? We think about science. Every action has a reaction. My 7th grade science teacher would be so proud that I still remember that. But I want you to think about that in your business sense, right? Every action has a reaction. And so you should have an answer or a result for everything that goes on. Because the other piece of this that I'll teach you in this workflow remap is how to keep people in your ecosystem. And so if someone is not qualified right now to work in your offer or for you to have them in your ecosystem, where do you hold their information? So when you launch a product or a new offer, you can re-engage with those people. Do you just push them to your newsletter? Do you tag them a specific way? I want you thinking about all of those things, and this workshop is going to do that for you. I also have some sample workflows of past clients so you can kind of get an idea of similar B2B brands, how they manage it. You've got some templates in here. Then we're going to get into actually implementing systmsOS. And one thing that I want to make very clear is that I have never in my 10 years forced a client, a person in my audience to invalidate all of the work that they have ever done in building their business. That is not the purpose of systmsOS. What the purpose is that it gives you a framework to challenge what you've been doing and elevate it, right? So even though in the systmsOS hub, and I'll show you right now, you are going to get access to my tech stack. You're going to get access to tech guides and how to implement Slack, implement Zapier, implement Notion. If you don't want to use cal.com because you love Calendly, you don't have to. And that's the whole point of systmsOS, is to give you a guided framework to say, okay, this is what Sarah's expertise is telling me. What can I take from that and judge in my current workflows and in my current tech and my current processes? One thing I do want to call out though is Slack. So in here, you actually get access to my Slack structure. You guys know that I completely operate all of my day-to-day in Slack. Lizzie, my AI account executive, she interacts with me in Slack. I'm giving you all of the welcome messages I use with my clients and how to set up connect channels. I give you my emoji system and I tell you exactly how to implement that in your own business if you want to steal it for yourself. And then, of course, we have other templates in Notion, Tally forms. God, how many guides in Tally am I giving you guys? Lead gen forms, proposal response forms, a universal statement of work and service agreement that's been signed off by my lawyer. But remember, it is not legal advice, so take it at your own risk. It is also the project offboarding form and collecting testimonials. So I'm giving you a full overview of how to connect every single dot in your business. So that's in the hub. And then the last thing is going to be elevating from there, right? So systmsOS is a foundation. You're cleaning up all your processes, you're connecting your dots, you're patching those leaky buckets. But then what comes next, right? And so in the library, you have additional guides, additional templates, additional frameworks. There are things like how to manage client files, how to prevent what I call it the cubicle crutch, which is how to not rely on your team to just have a green active dot on Slack, and also not how to just buy them a pizza party and think that that's culture, right? All of this is in here. There's also, again, guides. There's this massive tech stack wiki that cross compares. Let me show you. It cross compares different tools for you to decide, is cal.com right for me? Is Lemon Squeezy right for me? So if we click this open, you can see that I have compiled just amounts of data in here. So for instance, with Lemon Squeezy, what are the plans that they offer? Do they have API integration? What is Lemon Squeezy? Maybe there's tools that, you're looking for a digital product tool and you're very new to this world. You haven't launched a digital product. This will really give you an idea of what to beta test, what to explore. And then from there, there's also some automations additional in here, a wiki for different zaps and webhooks that you can duplicate across the board, and how to actually implement those automations if it's not a specific tool you're using, but kind of how to override those triggers. And then lastly, this is also something that I've been exploring too. I call them super systems. And these are full workflow bundles that I sell on my website as one-offs. And they're all like $47 a pop, but you will get access to all of them as I launch. So we just launched the production hub for podcasters. You automatically get access to it. Just keep in mind that eventually there may be some super systems that you already have pre-built. And so for instance, like the lead gen hub, that's going to be your Notion sales pipeline, which I can show you here. So there may be things that you already have access to that you just don't need to reduplicate. So if we go into Notion, these are all of the templates here. Oop, that's the finance guide. The sales pipeline. So this is going to give you my tried and true sales pipeline, conversion charts, and also that sales proposal template as well. So all of that's in that lead gen in the super systems, but you can definitely already have access to that and anything in the future. The really cool thing is that as I update systmsOS, it is not a subscription. It is a one-time purchase. You are not paying to play, if you will. It is also not a fix and forget it framework. And so you will kind of join the secret newsletter that I have, that anytime I add to systmsOS, I update something because of new features, you will automatically get an email, a walkthrough. It will tell you how to utilize those new things if and when you choose. And so it is lifetime access. It's very straightforward, and it's also 1%. I think it's actually less than, if we calculate it, less than 1% of what I charge for my one-on-one work, because I really believe that building knowledge equity, especially within freelance, founder, entrepreneurial space, is so important. And so I really wanted to build a tool that can not only get you on the right feet, but grows with you as you grow. And so if you are not the ops person of your business, if you have a dedicated person and they need a little bit of tech boost, they need a little bit of workflow boost, I definitely recommend getting them into this ecosystem and building this into their day-to-day ops. And of course, if you're on your own, it's not some special skill to make your business better. I think that is the missing piece that a lot of people I see online tend to say, like, oh, you have to outsource this because this skill set is only for this specific person, right? This specific consultant. But I think there comes a massive amount of wealth in your business if you know how it operates. I've said this for years that I will not outsource something if I don't attempt it first. And I think a lot of times we tend to outsource because we are afraid of testing. But you know your business best. I even tell my $15,000 clients this. I will never know your business as much as you know your business, right? And that is why you are the best person to implement systmsOS in-house for yourself and use that as a bungee to jump off from. So of course, the last thing, if you have any questions, if you are really interested in getting into this ecosystem, but are not sure if it's worth it for you, scan that QR code on my screen and it will take you down at the bottom. There's a link to book a call with me. You can pick my brain as much as you need to make sure that you are making the right decision. You can grab systmsOS right now. It is available. And frankly, implement it this afternoon before dinner, before you order your Papa John's.